Welcome to For the Health of It. I'm your host, Koray Paget, and this is your number one source for all things sports, health, and fitness related.
Oh, hold on, Coach. What does For the Health of It stand for?
Good question, Austin. The four and For the Health of It stands for our four principles, which are mindset, movement, nutrition, and recovery.
Okay, cool. Let's do it for the health of it then.
Welcome to another edition of For the Health of It. I'm your host, Koray Paget, and today I have with me one of my former athletes, former student, Koray Easterling. It's always a pleasure to get one of my former athletes and former students on here. Koray, how you doing, sir?
Good, man. How's it going? I'm good.
I'm doing quite
Thanks
well.
for having me, brother.
I appreciate you coming on, man. So Koray is a soccer player, soccer athlete. He's been playing probably since the age of 4, if I had to guess. Played in high school, and now went on transition, started playing in college. So I'm gonna let you go ahead, give us a little bit of your introduction, Koray, into soccer and everything else.
Yeah. So, like you said, you guessed right. I started at 4 years old. I was born and raised in Germany. My dad was in the military. He was stationed in Germany in Frankfurt, and met my mother there, and had myself and my sister. He ended up retiring and staying in the country. So I was, born and raised in Germany. Went to German schools, and I didn't live like on base ever or anything like that because he had retired. So I grew up, Germany, as you can probably imagine. That's all we do is play soccer. So that's all I ever knew, and yeah, that's all I did. I played for some bigger clubs in Germany growing up when I was younger. It's not gonna ring a bell, but Aztec Kaiserslautern. They play in the second division of Germany. They were in the first division when I was playing in there, and I played for Rot-Weiß Frankfurt. Not as big as a club, but also a fairly decent club in Germany. And then at the age of 14, I moved to the U.S. where I went to Biloxi High School and where we met.
Okay.
So that's basically the rundown to high school.
Yeah. I definitely remember meeting you. And I don't know if most people know that watch this show. I was a sub my first 4 years in education. So I met you, and it was a good chance, man, because I love like a different set of kids every other day or something like that, man. Mm-hmm. So I met you your ninth grade year and stayed all the way at Biloxi High with you in that group of 2016. See, I graduated, man. Like I mentioned before we started recording, y'all are a good group of kids. So you moved to the U.S. Why did y'all move to Biloxi? Like, out of all the places, is your dad from that area?
Yeah, good question. So my dad had already he moved back to the States when I was around 11 years old.
Okay.
11 or 12. So I've been so then I came to a point where I was 13, and my dad was trying to get me to come move over, and it made sense. I don't know how I made that decision at 13 for the given reasons, because I was a big mama's boy growing up, and leaving my mom was, not living with her, that I couldn't have even imagined that. But he gave me some reason of being able to go to college and further my education, but also being able to play soccer, and the educational thing wasn't too stuck into my head when I was growing up in Germany. I was one of those many kids that just think they're gonna go pro one day, and they're gonna be rich and successful that way. But he convinced me, and he got me to move to the States, and I moved when I was 14, and he happened to be in Biloxi, Mississippi, because the Air Force Base was there.
Gotcha.
His family's from Mobile, Alabama, so it's about 40-minute drive. He wanted to be close to family, his mother and his brothers and sister, but still be able to get the VA hospital and all that sort of stuff, because he went to war and has dealt with some things like PTSD, so he went to go get treatment there. So it was a perfect spot to be in. So I just went wherever he was. So that's how that happened.
Okay, that makes sense. I think I knew he was from Mobile, and I figured, man, a lot of folks that retire, man, or come to Keesler, they end up retiring in that Biloxi, Gulfport, somewhere along that Gulf Coast area.
It's not a bad area to retire.
Not at all, man. Beaches could be a little bit nicer, but it's not a bad area at all.
It's not bad, yeah.
So let's talk about you playing in high school. So you get down to Biloxi. I'm pretty sure. Did you already know Coach Mosby going into it, or what happened? You just out or?
didn't know anyone or anything, you know. So obviously my dad has been, my dad. No one else does, but my dad likes to, he likes to run his mouth. So he's been, talking to everyone, telling them that they have a superstar coming. He was speaking. Yeah, I'm sure he was talking me up and whatnot. And so he's been talking to I don't know if he talked to Mosley, which was, like I said, Coach Mosley was our high school coach. But he's been talking to, I'm sure he has. I'm really not sure, but he was talking to like the select coach, which was Coach Bruni, which was like a select. It's like you can play high school and then you play select. It's like a travel ball.
Yeah, it's like the AAU of soccer.
Right, basically. So he got that all set up. That was all set up, but I think he didn't get too much into the high school because he knew that I was just going to go into high school and that's going to work itself out. But yeah, high school ball, I got into there. What was your question? I know you asked how I got into it, but no, we didn't. I don't think we spoke to Mosby though. No.
Okay.
But everyone knew, I think, that someone was coming.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this: when you got there and you found out soccer tryouts, like you get your first day at Biloxi High, you're like, all right, I want to play soccer. And whatever day is soccer tryouts, you go to soccer tryouts. How was your first day at soccer tryouts or whatever that is?
I don't even know if you know this, man, but it wasn't how you would think it would have went. Do you know this at all?
Huh?
Do you know the story of like what kind of happened?
No,
you don't know. Yeah. So I struggled. I struggled a lot, and you wouldn't have thought that. I didn't think that. I thought I was going to come here and blow everyone away, but I struggled a bit. I had a hard time making the high school team. Not necessarily the high school team, the varsity team. I was going to make the team, but the varsity team was tough to get in. And the only reason why I got into the team was because of a goalie. Jared Quave? I don't know.
Yeah, I remember Jared.
Yeah, so Jared was obviously older guy at the time. I think he was a junior or senior. And he spoke to Coach Mosby and was like, look, you have to get this guy on the team because I don't think Mosby was the biggest fan of me at the time. And I love Coach Mosby. We went through ups and downs through high school, but and I would do anything for him at this point. We've built a great relationship. But I think at the time, I might be wrong, and I hope he watches this so he can maybe
get back. Shoot it to him.
Yeah, shoot it to him. But I don't know, but it seemed like he wasn't the biggest fan of me at the time. I wasn't the player that I guess they assumed that they were getting.
Right.
But I'll tell you what the difference was the game is very different in the U.S. than it is in Germany. There, it's more technical and like brain wise, So like, I was way ahead of players by ages of just knowing the game and knowing the flow of the game and reading the game and my technical ability. But I didn't have too much of the physical aspect, which is super important in the U.S. in soccer because obviously we have sports like football and basketball where athleticism. Americans are very athletic.
Right.
So I didn't have those attributes. I was smaller. I was a little chubby, not too chubby, but I was a little chunkier and I wasn't fast at all. So I was a slow guy. So given of what, the reality, like what they thought they were going to get, I was just the opposite because I'm sure they have never seen a soccer player from Germany or like, I'm sure they watched it on TV, but it's different when you expecting someone and then not getting what you kind of thought you would be getting. So I went through a rough time my freshman year, not playing much. I played a couple games of varsity. I started in the JV ranks, but obviously I thought I deserved to play varsity. But that's how my first freshman year went and the tryouts. I thought I did well, but it went not as planned. I'll say that, but I made it.
Okay. All right. Cool. So that was your freshman year. Let's skip ahead to your junior year. In fact, let's go ahead and skip until the end of your junior year. So it's the summer of 2015. I want you to talk to me about when you had to try out or whatever happened, the situation you had with Manchester City.
Oh man,
so
yeah.
Tell me how you got how was it introduced, the opportunity, and then how the experience went, and then what it was like over there and coming back.
Yeah, that was crazy. My game changed a lot in those 2 years because I had obviously the attributes that I was talking about, just of knowing the game and having the IQ of the game, which is more important than having the physical attributes because you can outsmart someone, then it doesn't matter if you're slower or faster or smaller or big. But in those 2 years, I was in the gym a lot. My dad had me, pumping those, the weights as you
Walk
see
around
him.
like this, man. Yeah.
Right, he walks around like that. So I got stronger. I grew in height and I got faster. My my 40-yard dash went up from, you won't believe this, a 5.5 in the 40-yard dash from my freshman year to a 4.6 to my junior year, let's say my sophomore year. So at the end of high school, I was going into college, I was about at a 4.5, closer to 4.4. But I've grown in all those physical attributes that the American game had. So going into my junior year, my dad did a lot behind the scenes and always tried to find the best opportunities for me, and he got in contact with a lot of people trying to see what's next for me. I tried to avoid the college route because the professional route was the way that I wanted to go, and that we decided was what we were looking for at the time. So he contacted some people, and we got in touch with several people, and a guy from England got me into the door of Manchester City, which is if some viewers are soccer fans, they'll know it's the biggest growing club at the moment. Have a ton of money, and one of the biggest clubs in the world right now with Pep Guardiola coaching and having some of the best players. So I was 17 years old at the time, went over the summer to Manchester, flew there, and they flew me. We paid, of course, NCAA rules. I mean, it doesn't matter now because I'm not in NCAA, but we went, got everything set up, and I went by myself, stayed in the housing that they have, and it's amazing. I mean, you can't even imagine what they have as a setup. It's unreal. Like everyone needs to go and just tour the facility because it's top notch for the kids to the pros, and everyone is in the same building. So you got to think of it as a round building. It's split in half. So you have the pro side, and then you have the academy / women's side. And then you have a bunch of soccer fields around. So it was,
nice.
I mean, it was brand new facility. It was amazing. The room that I stayed in was like a hotel basically, and it was like, I know all the players would kind of like brag about it and be like, guess how much your bed costs? And I'm like, I don't know. It's like bed, like your mattress is $10,000, and I was like, oh, well, pounds. And I was like, oh wow. And I mean, the room was like flat screen TV, bed, like open glass shower. Like,
so did y'all have a roommate, or it was just?
No, I had my own room. It was like a hotel. Like, I mean,
man. And you were a tryout player.
Right, I was just on tryout, and some of the kids that were foreigners stayed there. Some kids that were foreigners have bought houses that because they bring their families if they want to come. So I stayed with some of the guys and I've made friends with guys that are now. I watch them on TV, so it's amazing to see that. But yeah, so it was beautiful. We had all the PlayStations and ping pong we'd play and pool, and it was amazing. And it was they gave me a calendar and a bunch, like a folder with like what we're doing and how everything was just organized as it can be. There was the first day of practice, there was, I think, and it was so confusing for me, obviously not seeing this ever. I played for a bigger club growing up, but I wasn't at this stage of age where it's different, where you're 17, 18, where now they're coming into factoring, if you're going to go pro, if you're going to stay here or go out to go somewhere else. So competition is a bit different, and you're getting more doctors and more thing like nutrition. Everything is just, amped up by a ton. And there it was like something I've never seen. And for instance, at practice, there's like, you have your coach, you have your head coach, your assistant coach, you have your goalkeeper coach. And that's like normal. You have like 3 coaches. Like from what I've seen, it's like you have like 3, and then you have like your physical therapist or like your doctor that's like on set. Like you have someone there that's like for the medical side of things, but that's like 4. It's like usually like 4 people that are there, maybe 5 with like the water people. It's not football. We don't have 80 people out there.
Right.
But this time it was like the doctor, the physio. We had someone in charge of warming us up. We had someone in charge of, he did the cool down as well. We had, I don't know if I mentioned a doctor, but there was at least 1 or 2 doctors, 1 or 2 physical therapists that will, roll you out and stretch you. And then there were multiple coaches always watching, either from like the team above or the team below. So there's like 20 people always watching your trainings. And it was just like, I mean, a little intimidating. It's like, who are all these people watching? You know, it's like, it's crazy of like just the environment. So yeah, that's how that happened. And it was a dream. We got to go, I got to go to preseason with the team as well. So we went to Spain. So we went to Spain for a week, and it was, I mean, I can send you pictures. I don't know if you've seen some of them. I still have them, luckily, and I'll keep them for the rest of my life. I'll show my kids. Hopefully I have some. But yeah, like, you know, we were on like a chartered private jet going to Spain for a week and stayed at this beautiful hotel where everything was just, I mean, catered for us. We went to go, you know, get massages and train. Obviously, we were doing a lot of training, and in between all these nice things, we're doing a lot of training, a lot of rehab, and a lot of just, you know, getting our bodies right and just working very hard. So gym sessions are included and all that, but it's very specific and it's very organized. Yeah, it was amazing. I think I could talk for hours about this. But I think I'll tell you the coolest part about it all was one day so before every training session we would meet in a room where we'd go over what we're gonna do today. And obviously, it was very intimidating for me from day one. I was in there with people that are worth millions of dollars, and they're 17, 18 years old because I could look these.
So let me interject. Were you? I think at the time, this is what, 2015. So was that the dude from Brazil? Was he on that team? I think they called him the Hulk or something like that.
No, Hulk didn't play for Manchester City. No.
Oh shoot! Oh my bad.
No, Hulk didn't. Hulk plays in China right now, but he didn't play for Manchester City.
Okay.
But let's see, how much soccer do you know? If I named some, on the first team. So obviously, I didn't practice with let me make that clear. I didn't practice with the first professional team. I practiced with the under 18s.
Gotcha.
So it was like I was 17, so it was under 18s, and if I were to get signed, I would have to get signed for the under 23. So that's the next team. It's like it's the second team, and it's what they call the under 23. So anyone from 23 years old or below is on this team. And at that point, you're considered a pro. So they have to sign you at a professional contract. So at the age of 18 in Europe, you either get offered your professional contract or they send you off, which means they cut you. So It's either that. So at that point, for me to get signed, I would have to get signed by the team that was above me, which was the U23s, which was at the time coached by a legend in the soccer world named Patrick Vieira, who was a French international who played for Arsenal and who was, I mean, like one of the best French players of all time. Played with people like Thierry Henry and I mean many others, but he was the coach who I had to impress and that I've got to meet, which was amazing. But yeah, so I don't know, like, do you know like Aguero? Do you know who that is? I'm sure that name maybe.
don't embarrass me on my own show, man.
I'm out here. I understand, man.
Okay, but let's jump forward a little bit, man. So when did you find out like you weren't gonna make the cut? Like, how did that go?
Yeah. So at the end I was there for 4 weeks, so it was a long time. We went to, we spent 2 weeks in England, and then we went to Spain for a week, and then we came back for a weekend in England, and they brought me in to the office with the two coaches, and they told me that they wouldn't sign me here, and that I should seek to try, and they believe that I can play in the second division, which is called the Championship of England. And we went on to do that, and I went to a team in Nottingham Forest, is in the second division of England, and I had about 4 or 5 days there, which was a different experience. It wasn't as rich as Man City, so I showed up there, and I was like, "Whoa, what is going on?" Because I got picked up in a guy in a suit at Manchester City, and then I got picked up by like a guy in a training, wearing his team colors, which is fine, but like in a different car. It wasn't like a souped up Mercedes Benz. It was like a little bit of different car. And then I stayed in like in a housing facility that wasn't luxurious. And so it was a different world. I didn't get signed by them either. I believe I should have been. I played really well, and the players believe that I should have been too. But I know it's whatever is a fit is a fit, and I wasn't a fit. So then I got sent home by them as well, and then I came back to the States. But
Okay.
I'll tell you, the coolest moment, I think, definitely the coolest moment was on a day where we were training. It was at Manchester, and my idol, me being a center back, which is a defender, my idol was a guy named Vincent Company, and it still is a big guy from Belgium, and he played for the club at the time. He doesn't play there now; he's retired. But we were walking out to training, and before training, the coaches told us that the first team is going to be training next to us today. So to let the players know, because obviously it's a great opportunity for the
Hey,
coach.
that's who I was thinking, man. I called the wrong name. Vincent Company. That's exactly who I was
Oh,
thinking of, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, so I did. Yeah, I got to see him, and this story is actually really cool. What I'm about to tell you. Um, so the coach tells us that we're going to be training next to the first team, and obviously telling the guys, show out, because the coach will be watching us practice instead of them because they're having a slow day. And so their coach at the time was Pellegrini, I believe. Don't quote me. But so we're walking out to the training facilities, and again, it's split. So we're coming from a different side, and they're coming out of this side. And I'm walking out by myself. I think some of the guys are behind me. And all of a sudden, I'm like, look up, because I was looking down at the time to see where I need to go. And Vincent Company and I think Fernandinho at the time step out right in front of me. So they're walking. I mean, they're like a step in front of me because they're in the field next to us. And I look up and I'm like, holy crap. It's like, wow. Like I didn't know what to, I wasn't going to say anything. Of course, I wasn't going to fanboy at practice.
Right.
I'm here, I'm supposed to be here type deal. I'm not going to say anything. So I just walked behind them and kept on going because we were going to the same spot basically. And, the cameras were everywhere. And I was just like, wow. I mean, and by the way, the first thing I said was, how big are these guys? Like, how am I supposed to play? How would I compete with these guys are 6'4", big dudes, and it was amazing. It was a dream come true just to be able to see them that close. I mean, it was like I could have touched them. So it was awesome.
That's what's up, man. So you get back to the States, man. It's your senior year. It didn't go the way you wanted. So when did you find out that you were going to Tulsa?
Okay. Obviously now I got a lot of hype on my belt. I came back. I've been on the news several times now. Everyone's expecting a lot, which is fine. I wasn't, I was okay with that. I like that. But then, man, me trying to go pro, I didn't really look into college that much at the time, my junior year, and I didn't really, it wasn't a focus. I was trying to go past that. So my college recruiting was a bit off. It was late. It was weird. Didn't have the best grades, I'll tell you. Screwed me over. It ended up turning off, working really well because Tulsa worked with me. But Tulsa got in contact with me early on my senior year. They saw me I was at a select tournament with my team, and we were at regionals. We won states, now we're at regionals. And so in soccer, you have select, which is like AAU, but I don't know if there's like different stages of AAU where you have like, the elite kids, like is there a different stage?
I think so. I think I think they have like a baseline AAU where like any Joe Schmo can get in. And then they have like that Nike camp, the Reebok, or not Reebok, but Adidas and Under Armour. I think they, only certain ones get invited here.
Right. So we have that as well, which is like with what we call as academies that they have in America. And usually the academies are filtered through the systems of like the pro MLS clubs like FC Dallas or Chicago Fire. But we didn't have any of that near us. The closest was in Georgia. So I actually went to Georgia and tried out for, at the time was Georgia United, now Atlanta FC. And they were going to take me, and they took me, but my dad didn't want to make the move. So I was playing not at the basic side of AAU, basically. I was playing in like the level above that, but underneath the elite level. So I wasn't getting the exposure. Like the college coaches didn't come to my events as much as the other kids got, So a lot of the guys that I played college ball with all played like the highest level, and they played for like the big teams like New York, Red Bulls in New York, or they played for LA Galaxy. We didn't have any LA Galaxy guys, but just for example. So when I went to regionals, it's like the biggest event where some of those college coaches still go, but
Mhm.
most of them don't, just because it's not the highest level, but it's still like, maybe they could find something. So I had a really good weekend. I played really well. I had scored a couple of goals, and we played against Georgia United, actually the team that I was supposed to play on, and they had a lot of recruits that were supposed to be like big time, and I played very well, defended very well, and shut down some of those guys. So after that, Tulsa happened to watch that game, and I got in contact with my coach, and then my dad, and then that's how that happened. So I think we were in contact for a year. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was in contact with I was in contact with several schools at the time, but then I think like late, I was the last signing of Tulsa. So
Okay.
until going to like into summer camp, I signed like 2 weeks before summer camp started.
Oh,
I
nice.
was really late. I was really late, and they had wanted me. It was just kind of on my side of things. I was really late, so
Okay.
there was just we didn't know what we were gonna do, and ended up being a good decision. So amazing decision.
All right. You also ran track your senior year too, man. We was trying to win
I
one for Uncle
did, yeah.
Reese. It didn't turn out the way we wanted, but you definitely did your thing in track also, man.
I don't know about that.
No, you did, man. I mean, I can pull up some of your times, man. If I had my research guy, if I had him on, I'd have him pull up some of your times, man. But you had a decent year for track, man. I'm pretty sure you went to South State, right? If
Yeah.
not, if not individually, I know you were on the relay team for South State.
4x4.
Yeah, see, I knew
We
it.
got smoked, but we went.
Hey, man. Hey, now looking back, I can say I was not expecting Pearl to be that deep and that good. Like,
Oh my God.
they
Yeah.
came so deep to South State. Like,
It was
'cause
crazy.
yeah, I don't know if you remember, man, but we had been smoking teams all across the coast. Like,
Yeah, no, we're good. I mean,
yeah,
we
like
had
we
guys
were
on the team.
really good, and then as the season progresses, you're gonna lose people just based off of only so many can go on the top three advance or top
Right.
four advance. So we might win a meet, and then but we lose two guys. We might win another meet, then we lose another guy. So we got to South State, and it's like Pearl didn't lose anybody, yo. That tripped me out that we had to go up against them, and they. I'm still facing them now at Jackson, and
Right.
first 2 years up here, I was actually in the same district with them, so I got my
Mm.
head busted a couple of times against them. But we got
Yeah,
something
they're
for 'em
scary.
coming up. We got something for them coming up, man. Let's talk about running a little short on time, so we're gonna do this as a two-part.
Right. Yeah, I talk too much.
No, you good. You good. I want to talk about college soccer here in America, or like the process here in America versus the process overseas.
Yeah.
So go into that because you went to Tulsa, right? And Tulsa is at the time they were in the Conference USA or AC, what were they? Or
No, they just switched from Conference USA to American
American
Athletic.
team, okay, or American.
The year before I came, so they had played a year in the American Athletic.
Gotcha. So the SEC, which is we're here in the SEC country, and then we're also in the Conference USA country. It's not a Power Five, but
Right.
basically what I'm saying is the SEC doesn't have men's soccer. So
Right.
how was that going to Tulsa versus you went to school with some guys that ended up going to or you played against some guys that in football went to Alabama or went to Southern Miss or something like that. So how was it going to a smaller school?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't coming from Germany, especially. It wasn't like what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to a big school and experience the college life, and
Right.
obviously not. I mean, I end up having the college life. It was amazing, but just the idea of having a huge school with 60,000 students and whatnot was like what I was imagining. But obviously Tulsa is a private school. I think we're the smallest D1 playing school in Division One,
Okay.
sports. So we had, I think, 5,000 students, including like online students and whatnot.
I know that. So man,
Yeah,
let me ask
tiny.
you, man, what is a big school for soccer like? Because Alabama's not one, and so
Right.
there are no SEC soccer schools. So tell me what school is a big stock.
Stanford, huge. You know, you have your Pac-12, your Big Ten. It's really good. I'm
Is
sure that I'm
ACC in
missing
there?
ACC. Yeah.
Like Florida State and all that?
Oh wait, no. Let's see. I don't know who's in the ACC for soccer. Um,
All right.
I wasn't ever too, like too stuck on like the conferences. I never
Right,
really got
right.
into it. But you had your. I know the Pac-12 was huge. The Big Ten was really good. You're basically it's everyone up north,
Mm-hmm.
northeast, and west.
Yeah.
Everything west was soccer. You know, Wake Forest, North Carolina,
Got
Clemson, Duke, NC State, great soccer teams. Syracuse, Louisville, Virginia. Um, and there's plenty of more, but those schools are those
okay.
heavyweights like Alabama and LSU.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So compare that to, because again, I've been overseas like once for a week.
Yeah,
You lived over there. How old are you? 24?
22.
22. So you lived over there half your life. Uh,
Right.
compare the developmental scene overseas to here in America.
Yeah, I mean it's miles away. Growing up, I think the biggest first issue that here is it was probably someone's dad coaching
Mm-hmm.
the team. You know, like whoever has spare time. And the difference in Germany is for you to even coach children, you have to have a license.
Gotcha.
You have to have studied soccer and got yourself a certification. And to coach higher levels, you have to bump that certification up. So from the beginning, I was getting coaching, and those kids are getting coaching that is from people that actually know the sport. And here is a lot of just parents that maybe played, maybe a lot of times haven't. I
Right.
might have watched on the weekend, and they sip a beer and they go, let's go play some soccer. So so that's a big difference in the development, and that just I mean, I can go into this. That's a big part. The difference, the price of the sport. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know if you heard, is a huge point. There in Germany, you don't have to pay to play.
Right.
Like, I
Right.
mean, it's dirt cheap, maybe like $30, let's say.
Wow.
Compared to here, where you're paying like
100.
thousands of dollars
Wow.
plus traveling and
Right.
hotels. It's insane, but because there you won't be traveling like that. Or if you do, it happens. If like I play for bigger clubs, then things are accommodated.
Right.
You take a team bus.
Gotcha.
There's things that are, and you have a team. The team, the club funds this. Here it's all funded by yourself. So a lot of kids, as to why we're not good at soccer is because the opportunity for people to play in rural areas or people that can't afford it is because they can't they can't afford it. So I've said that 3 times, they can't afford it. But that's the difference of why soccer is behind in this country, given cost and how expensive it is, and the training that the kids are getting, even the ones that are paying a lot of money.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
It's a
so
big deal.
we gonna cut it short, man, but we gonna definitely get you back on because you're nowhere near
Yeah.
finished telling the rest of your story, man. So
And
just bear with me, and we're gonna bring you back on, Koray. I appreciate you being on with
let's
us.
do it.
This has been a episode of For the Health of It. And before I dip out, man, drop your social medias.
Okay, yeah. My Instagram is Koray East, so KORAYEAST. Twitter, the same. Or you can just type in Koray Easterling, and Koray is Koray, and then my last name is Easterling, like Easter, and then Ling. I don't know what else. I don't blog or anything. Instagram or Twitter is basically what I'm on mostly. But yeah, let's make this a part 1, and let's get a part 2 cooking up somewhere.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you
I'm
being on,
excited.
Koray.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. I love I love what you're doing, and I saw this and I had to get on. And I'm gonna get my uncle on here one time too. He's kind of hard to reach, but I'll get him on here.
For sure.